that Dr. Mortimer is a successful elderly medical man, well esteemed, since those who know him give him this mark of their appreciation." "Good," said Holmes. "Excellent." I wasn't in strict agreement with Watson's assessment, but I let the good doctor continue as I realized that no one had, in point of fact, requested my opinion on this matter. "I think," continued Watson, "that there is also the probability of his being a country practitioner who does a great deal of his visiting on foot." "Why so?" asked Holmes, which was surprising, as it was the very question which had occurred to me. He gave me a quick glance and a smile, suggesting we were, once again, both on the same deductive track. "Because this stick, though originally a very handsome one, has been so knocked about that I can hardly imagine a town practitioner carrying it. The thick iron ferrule is worn down, so it is evident that he has done a great amount of walking with it." I was pleased to note that he made no mention of the one or two small gouges I had inadvertently made to the cane during my brief perusal of the object. "Perfectly sound," said Holmes, though I could tell from his tone that he thought nothing of the kind. I am sure my face registered this confusion, though neither of the humans seemed to notice it. "And then again there is the Friends of the CCH. I should guess that to be the something-something hunt, the local hunt to whose members he has possibly given some surgical assistance, and which has made him a small presentation in return." "Really, Watson, you excel yourself," said Holmes, pushing back his chair and lighting a cigarette. He glanced down at me and offered the slightest of winks in my direction. I am not capable of returning that unique gesticulation, so I simply nodded in understanding. "I am bound to say that in all the accounts which you have been so good as to give of my own small achievements, you have habitually underrated your own abilities," continued Holmes. "It may be that you are not yourself luminous, but you are a conductor of light. Some people, without possessing genius, have a remarkable power of stimulating it. I confess, my dear fellow, that I am very much in your debt." He has never said as much before, and I must admit his words seemed to give Dr. Watson something akin to keen pleasure. I am not always correct in my assessment of human facial expressions, but the kindly doctor was clearly pleased by something, and I don't think I was taking too much of a logical leap to assume it was in response to my master's fulsome comments. Holmes then took the stick from the doctor's hands and examined it for a few minutes with his naked eyes. Then, with an expression of interest, he laid down his cigarette and carried the cane to the window. Intrigued, I got up and followed him, leaning heavily against his leg once I had arrived. He patted my head absently as he looked over the stick again, this time with the precision offered by a convex lens. "Interesting, though elementary," he said. "There are certainly one or two indications upon the stick, as I'm sure Septimus has observed. It gives us the basis for several deductions." He returned to his favourite corner of the settee, while I resettled myself neatly upon the hearth rug. "Has anything escaped me?" asked Watson with some self-importance. "I trust there is nothing of consequence which I have overlooked." I glanced up at Holmes expectantly, wondering how he planned to deliver his assessment of Watson's sad attempt at deduction. "I'm afraid, my dear Watson, that most of your conclusions were erroneous. When I said that you stimulated me, I meant, to be frank, that in noting your fallacies I was occasionally guided towards the truth. Not that you are entirely wrong in this instance. The man is certainly a country practitioner, and he walks a good deal." "Then I was right." "To that extent." "But that was all?" "No, no, my dear Watson, not all, by no means all." Holmes was being kind. Watson was mostly wrong. To be honest, at that point my attention toward their conversation waned, as I reflected back on a hare Holmes and I had spotted during a recent excursion through Hyde Park. I had made a mental note to revisit the event, and this seemed like an ideal time to reflect upon it. However, I suspect that while I was in my reverie, Holmes corrected the poor doctor on several key deficits within his deduction. For example, a presentation of a gift such as a walking stick to a doctor was more likely to come from a hospital than from a hunt, and when the initials C.C. are placed before the word hospital, the name Charing Cross very naturally suggests itself.